The massive starship hung in the darkness beyond Earth's moon like a silver mountain turned sideways. Inside the command deck, Captain Wheeler adjusted his breathing apparatus for the third time in an hour. The air here felt wrong, even though his suit said it was perfectly safe. Everything about this mission felt wrong. Approaching the staging area now, announced the pilot, his translator device making his clicking sounds into words. Bilar watched the viewing screen show the gray surface of Earth's moon growing larger. Somewhere beyond that dead rock was the planet they had come to inspect, Earth, the supposed death world. War Chieftain Dra stood beside him, scales gleaming under the ship's lights. The reptilian warrior had fought in 17 campaigns across the galaxy. He laughed, a sound like stones grinding together. I have seen the reports, Drax said. Humans exaggerate. They want us to fear them. All new species do this. They puff themselves up like threatened prey. Animals, Feller wanted to agree. His own people, the Cliff, had joined the Galactic Council 200 years ago. Back then they too had made their home world sound dangerous and impressive, but Claw was a gentle place of soft rains and mild seasons. Most council worlds were. Commander Hyun Woo is waiting for us at the landing pad, said Lieutenant Corvex. From his station, the amphibian's skin shifted from blue to nervous purple. He sends his greetings and warns us to prepare for full gravity. Dra laughed. Again, full gravity, as if we have not trained in high-G environments. These humans think they are special. The ship settled onto the lunar surface with barely a tremor. Wheeler led his team of 12 warriors to the airlock. Each one was elite, chosen from the best soldiers in the Galactic Council's forces. They wore light combat armor, enough to handle anything a Class 4 or Class 5 world could throw at them. Their weapons were secured but ready. The airlock opened. Beyond it stood a human male in a simple uniform. He was shorter than Wheeler expected, and his frame looked weak. No scales, no natural armor, no visible weapons except a small sidearm at his hip. His skin was smooth and vulnerable, the color of light sand. Welcome, the human said, his mouth moving in that strange way. Communicated. The translator caught his words. I am Commander Hyun Woo, Korean Space Force, currently assigned as liaison to the Galactic Council. It is an honor to meet you all. He bowed slightly at the waist. Wheeler had read about this human gesture. Respect, they called it. Captain Wheeler, Cliff Hive Fleet. Wheeler touched his chest in his own people's greeting. This is Warark, Chief Dra of the Skarn Empire, and our team of specialists. We are here to conduct the final evaluation of your world, of course. Yen Wu smiled, showing blunt teeth. We have prepared a tour of one of our settlements, a small village. Very peaceful. We thought you might like to see how ordinary humans live. Ordinary humans, Dra repeated. Tell me, Commander, how many of your warriors will accompany us? Warriors? Hin Wu looked confused for a moment. Oh, you mean security? None. The village is completely safe. My colleague, Lieutenant Jiwon, will join us. She is a xenobiologist. She can answer your questions about Earth's ecosystem. Bilar exchanged glances with Dra. A death world settlement with no security. Either the humans were incredibly foolish or they were incredibly confident. A smaller human approached female with long dark hair tied behind her head. She wore civilian clothes, just simple pants and a shirt, no armor at all. Hello, she said brightly. I am G1. I'm excited to show you our home. Have you been briefed on the basic safety protocols? Safety protocols? Corvix asked, his skin now a worried orange. Yes, basic things. Stay hydrated. Let us know if you feel dizzy. Take breaks if you need them. Earth's gravity is one standard, which I understand is higher than most of your home worlds, and the weather can change quickly, so we brought extra equipment. Just in case. Veeler felt a small knot of concern in his stomach. One standard gravity, that was the baseline, true. But baseline for Deathworld measurements, his own planet was 0.7. Standard, comfortable, reasonable. Gravity, 1 was what the Council considered the upper limit of comfortable. We are trained warriors, Dra said firmly. We have operated in high-gravity environments before. Lead on, Commander. Hien Wu nodded and gestured toward a waiting shuttle. It was smaller than Veeler expected, with large windows and minimal armor. Civilian transport. The team boarded, armor clanking against the metal floor. Han Wu and Jiyuan moved with easy grace, not seeming to notice the weight of their own bodies. Veeler felt his suit's gravity compensators activate automatically as the shuttle lifted off from the moon's surface. Through the windows, Earth grew larger. Blue and white and green, swirled with massive cloud formations. Veeler had studied the images, but seeing it in person was different. The planet looked alive in a way most worlds did not. Active, violent, beautiful, and terrifying at once. Those cloud formations, Corv said quietly, are enormous. Ah yes, Jiwon said cheerfully. We have a tropical storm system moving across the Pacific Ocean. Right now, nothing major, just a Category 2. We will be landing well away from it. Do not worry. Category 2. Bilthor asked. Oh, it is a measurement of wind speed and destructive potential. Category 2 means winds of about 150 to 170 km/h, minor damage to structures, some flooding. Category 5 is the highest, with winds over 250 km/h. The shuttle went silent on Clefa. Winds above 50 km/h triggered emergency evacuations. They happen perhaps once every 20 years, and this happens often. Felter managed to ask the big storms several times a year in certain regions, but we have good prediction systems now, so casualties are minimal. Jiwon pulled up a screen showing Earth's surface. See, we are landing here on Jeju Island. It is off the southern coast of Korea. Beautiful place, very mild climate. Average temperature is about 15 degrees C, though it can get much warmer in summer. Draws scales had palled slightly. Mild climate, he repeated. Yes, one of the most comfortable regions on Earth. My grandmother is from near there. Actually, she always said the weather was perfect. Jiwon smiled at them. You will love it. The shuttle began its descent. Feller watched the numbers on his armor's display climb as they dropped into Earth's gravity well. Mule 8 standard, 0.9 standard, 1 standard. His suit compensated, but he could feel the weight increasing. His heart beat faster around him. The other warriors shifted uncomfortably. Commander, Veeler said carefully, perhaps you could tell us what to expect. The Council's data on Earth is limited. Yan Wu turned in his seat. His expression was open and friendly. Of course. Well, we will be landing at a small spaceport near the village. The village has about 300 permanent residents, mostly farmers. and fishers, very traditional lifestyle. Then we will take a short walk to meet some of the locals. There is a ranger named Sung Ho who volunteered to be our guide. His grandmother Misun is the village elder. Both of them are excited to meet aliens for the first time, and the dangers draw pressed. Dangers, huh? Wu looked genuinely confused. There are no dangers. I mean, stay on the paths. Do not wander into the forest alone, and watch for snakes in the grass, that sort of thing. Common sense, really. Oh, and the weather forecast shows possible rain this afternoon, so we brought umbrellas. Veeler's suit alarms began to ping softly. His stress levels were rising. Around him, 11 other warriors were experiencing the same thing. They were elite soldiers, veterans of dangerous missions, and they were becoming afraid. Before even landing, the shuttle touched down on a concrete pad surrounded by green vegetation. Through the windows, Velter could see trees moving in wind. Clouds rolled overhead, thick and heavy. The sky was blue, but an aggressive blue, bright and harsh. Welcome to Earth, Jiwon said, standing up easily despite the gravity. Ready to see our home? No, Veeler thought. No, I'm not ready at all. But he was a captain of the Cliff Fleet, and he had his duty. He nodded and stood, feeling his suit strain to help him up. Around him, his warriors did the same. Their armor whined and clicked as it compensated for the crushing weight of this world. The airlock opened and Earth's air rushed in. It smelled like water and growing things and something else, something wild that Veeler's instinct screamed was dangerous. Commander Hyan Wu stepped out first, breathing deeply. "Ah," he said happily. "It is good to be home." The moment Veeler stepped onto Earth's surface, his legs nearly buckled. His armor screamed warnings. Compensators working at maximum capacity. The gravity was not just strong, it was crushing. Every movement required effort around him. His warriors struggled to stand upright. "Are you all right?" Jiwon asked her, voice full of concern. She stood easily, hands on her hips, looking at them with worry. "Do you need a moment to adjust?" "We are fine," Bilar managed. His translator crackled from the strain. His voice was under. "Just calibrating our systems." Dra took a heavy step forward. The war chieftain's pride would not let him show weakness, but Veeler could see his scales were darker than normal. "Stress response. This is your normal gravity?" Dra asked. "Yes," Hun Wu said. "Is it uncomfortable?" "I apologize. We tried to find the lowest altitude location for our meeting so the air pressure would be easier for you. We are only about 50 m above sea level here, only 50 m on cliff. Elevation changes of 50 meters were barely noticeable. Here Veeler felt like he was at the bottom of an ocean. Gust of wind hit them. Feller's armor registered it at 25 kmh. His warriors leaned into it to stay upright. Hyan Wu and LT Unk and GT's hair moved slightly. "That was all. A bit breezy today," Jiwon commented. "Perfect weather, actually. Not too hot." Bilar checked his suits. External temperature reading 22 degrees C on Khalifa. That would be considered warm. But here with the wind, with the thick air, it felt different. The air itself had weight. "Shall we meet our guide?" Yinhua gestured toward a building near the landing pad. "He is waiting inside." Walk to the building took 10 minutes. It should have taken 2. Feller's team had to stop 3 times to rest. The humans waited patiently, not commenting on their difficulty. That somehow made it Worse, inside the building a human male stood waiting. He was older than Hyun Woo, with skin darkened by sun exposure and lines around his eyes. He wore simple clothes, work pants, and a shirt with heavy boots. A hat hung from his belt. "Welcome," the man said, bowing like Han Woo had. "I am Sung Ho. I work as a ranger in this region. I am honored to show you our home." Ranger Velter asked. "You are a warrior?" Sung Ho smiled. "Not exactly. I protect the forest and the animals. I help lost hikers. I monitor the ecosystem. Sometimes I help rescue people during storms or floods." "Floods happen often?" Korvex asked nervously. "Every few years. We get a big one, part of life near the coast." Song Ho shrugged like it was nothing. "But come, my grandmother has prepared tea for you. She is excited to meet visitors from the stars." They followed Song Ho outside. The village was visible in the distance, perhaps 2 km away. Small buildings with curved roofs, surrounded by green fields and trees. Mountains rose behind it, covered in forest. "A short walk," Sang Ho said cheerfully. It was not a short walk. It was an ordeal. The path was dirt and grass, uneven. Velar's warriors stumbled on rocks that Song Ho stepped over. Without looking, the wind picked up. Sky darkened as clouds moved overhead with terrifying speed. "Oh, looks like rain might come early," Jiwon said, glancing up. "We should hurry a bit." Hurry? They could barely walk. Halfway to the village, something small and colorful landed on Velar's armor. He froze. His suit scanners activated automatically. Insect detected. Analyzing. Complete metamorphosis. Survived larval stage in hostile environment. Chemical defenses present in body tissue. Recommendation: treat as potential threat. "Oh, a butterfly," Jiwon said happily. "How pretty. We do not see many this late in the year." "A butterfly." Belter stared at the creature. Its life cycle involved completely breaking down its own body and rebuilding it. That process would kill most known species. And humans thought it was pretty. They reached the village as the first raindrops fell. Sang Ho led them to a traditional house where an elderly woman waited on the porch. She was tiny, barely reaching Velar's chest, with white hair and skin like wrinkled paper, but her eyes were sharp and clear. "Welcome." "Welcome," she said in a voice that crackled. "I am Miss Anne. Please come inside before the rain starts properly." Inside, the house was simple but comfortable. Low tables, cushions on the floor, paper screens on the walls. Miss Anne moved around easily despite her age, preparing tea and setting out small dishes of food. "Please sit," she said. "You must be tired from your journey." Velar's warriors lowered themselves carefully to the floor cushions. Their armor creaked. Several of them were breathing hard. Miss Soon frowned. "The gravity is hard for you," she said with sympathy. "I forget that we are a heavy world. Here, drink this mountain spring water. It will help." She poured clear liquid into small cups. Felter's suit immediately analyzed it. Warning: contains dissolved minerals above safe levels. Trace elements of iron, calcium, magnesium. Exceed cliff tolerance by 300%. Recommend purification before consumption. It is safe? Felthar asked. "Of course," Miss Anne said, looking offended. "This spring has provided water for our village for 500 years. Best water in the region." Velar watched Hyun Woo and Jiwon drink without hesitation. Sang Ho drained his cup in one go. The humans consumed mineral concentrations that would make Cliff sick for days. Outside, the rain began in earnest. It pounded on the roof. Like weapons fire, Feller's warriors jumped. Their armor registered it as an attack. Just rain, Sun Ho said, laughing. Gently, good for the crops. The acidity level, Korvix asked, his skin now a pale yellow acidity. Juan pulled out a device and checked. Oh, about pH 5.6. Normal range for this area. Why? Because on Korvix's home world, liquid with that acidity would be considered industrial waste. Here it was normal rain. Misan served tea next and small pieces of fruit. The tea was hot, almost painfully. So Feller's suit warned about temperature. The fruit was analyzed and flagged immediately. Warning: contains capsaicin compounds, chemical defense mechanism, will cause pain response in mucous membranes, highly toxic to Cliff biology. These peppers are from my garden, Misan said proudly. Not too spicy, just a little kick for flavor. Spicy, they ate toxic compounds for flavor, for pleasure. Draw carefully. Tried a small piece of fruit that looked safe. His scales changed colors rapidly as he chewed. This is intense, he said. The flavors are very strong. That is just a pimmin, Misun said, very mild. Wait until you try our kimchi. The rain grew heavier. Wind rattled the windows. What started as a light shower had become a storm that would have shut down operations on any council world. The humans sipped their tea and ate their toxic fruits and acted like nothing was happening. So Misan said, settling onto her cushion with a grunt, you have come to decide if humans can join your council. Yes, said, we must evaluate your world, your people, your capabilities. And what do you think so far? Her eyes twinkled with amusement. Felter did not know how to answer. He thought they were insane. He thought their world was a nightmare. He thought they were the toughest species he had ever encountered, and they did not even seem to know it. It is impressive, he said carefully. Misan laughed, a sound like dry leaves rustling. You think we are crazy to live here? I can see it in your faces, all of you. You think Earth is hell, grandmother, Sun Ho said quietly. No, let me speak. She waved her wrinkled hand. I am old enough to say what I think. You see our storms and our gravity and our dangerous animals, and you think we suffer? Yes, Velter nodded slowly. But this is paradise, Misun said softly. This is home. When I was young, a great wave came from the ocean. Tsunami, we call it. It destroyed this entire village, killed many people. I lost my husband, my son, my daughter. The room went quiet except for the rain. We could have left, Mason continued. We could have moved inland to safer places. But this is our home, so we buried our dead and we built again and we learned. Now we have warning systems, we have evacuation routes, we respect the ocean. But we do not fear it. But why stay? Korvix asked. Why not move to a safer world? Because easy worlds make soft people, Misan said. Hard worlds make strong people. We are strong because Earth made us strong, and now we can help others. That is worth something. Yes, Bethar looked around at his warriors. They were exhausted, overwhelmed, struggling with basic survival, and they had been here less than 3 hours. Grandmother is right, Sung Ho said. Earth is hard, but it is ours. We know no other way. The rain stopped as suddenly as it had started. Sunlight broke through the clouds, bright and harsh. The temperature immediately began to rise as the sun heated the wet ground. Steam rose from The path outside, come, Sang-ho said. Standing easily, let me show you the coast. It is beautiful after a rain. Veeler's warriors groaned softly, but they stood, armor whining, and followed the humans back outside. As they walked down the wet path, Veeler noticed a small creature slithering through the grass. His suit identified it immediately. Warning: venomous reptile detected. Venom contains neurotoxins and hemotoxins, potentially lethal too. Multiple species. Sang-ho saw where he was looking and casually reached down. He picked up the snake gently, holding it behind its head, just a small one. He said, they come out after the rain. Let me move it off the path so no one steps on it. He carried the deadly creature to the side and released it into the bushes. The walk along the coast took 2 hours. It should have taken 20 minutes. Feller's team had to stop every few hundred meters to rest, their armor working overtime to keep them upright. The humans walked at what they called a gentle pace, but to the aliens it felt like a forced march. The tide is coming in. Sang-ho pointed to the water. See how the waves are getting higher. Veeler watched the ocean creep up the beach. The water level changes twice every day, Jiwon explained. The moon's gravity pulls on our oceans. At high tide, the water can rise several meters. At low tide, it goes back out. It creates currents, shapes our coastlines, feeds our ecosystems. Korvix's skin flashed bright orange. Your moon is large enough to move entire oceans? Well, yes, Earth and Moon are unusually close compared to most planet satellite systems. Jiwon said it like she was discussing the weather. It also stabilizes our axial tilt, which keeps our seasons from going extreme. More extreme than this? Dra asked. Oh, much more. Without the moon, Earth would wobble. Our seasons would be unpredictable. Climate would be chaos. She smiled. We are actually quite lucky. Lucky? Veeler tried to imagine what unlucky Earth would look like. A bird cried overhead. Veeler looked up to see a large creature circling above them. His suit identified it immediately. Aerial predator detected. Visual acuity exceeds standard by factor of 8. Capable of high-speed diving attack. Talons designed for penetrating prey defenses. A sea eagle, Sang-ho said, shading his eyes. Magnificent birds. They can spot fish from 3 km up, then dive at over 150 km/h to catch them. Ballard did the math. That speed combined with mass in those talons would generate enough force to punch through light armor. And it hunted for a living. Are there many predators here? He asked. Oh, not too many in this region. Some wild boar in the forest. Snakes, as you saw, the occasional bear. In the mountains, offshore, we have sharks and orcas. In the air, eagles and hawks. Nothing that usually bothers humans, though. Nothing that usually bothers humans. Veeler added it to the growing list of terrifying statements he had heard today. They reached the village proper as the sun climbed higher. The temperature had risen to 28 degrees. Felthar's team was overheating. Despite their suits' cooling systems, humans had removed their jackets and seemed perfectly comfortable. Taeyang, Sang-ho called out, come meet our visitors. A human male approached from a field where green plants grew in neat rows. He was muscular, weathered by sun, and Veeler noticed immediately that his left arm ended at the elbow. Prosthetic device extended from there. Simple but functional. Welcome, Taeyang said, bowing. Forgive my appearance. I Was working in the field. You are injured, Veeler said before he could stop himself. Taeyang glanced at his arm. Oh. This farming accident years ago. Tractor rolled. I was lucky it was just the arm. He said it casually, like losing a limb was a minor inconvenience. I managed fine with the prosthetic. Come, let me show you what we grow. Lucky he had been crushed by a machine and considered himself lucky. The field was full of plants that Taeyang called rice. This variety is tough, he explained. Survives typhoons, flooding, drought. We bred it over centuries to handle our weather. You breed plants for combat capability? Draw asked. Taeyang laughed. Combat capability, I like that. Yes, I suppose. So we select the strongest seeds, the ones that survive the worst conditions. Only the tough ones get to reproduce. Gi-1 knelt and pulled up a weed from between the rice plants. See this? Invasive species. They compete with our crops for resources. We have to constantly remove them. Earth plants are aggressive, always fighting for space and nutrients. Your plants fight each other. Corvix looked disturbed all the time. Some release chemicals to poison competitors, some grow faster to shade others out, some develop thorns or toxins to avoid being eaten. It is constant warfare down at the plant level. Veeler's understanding of gardens and peaceful farming died in that moment. Even the plants on Earth were violent. They moved on to meet young Su, a fisher who was mending nets by the harbor. He was smaller than the other humans, wiry and quick, with hands that moved with practiced ease. The fish are running well this season, young Su said. Yesterday I caught a tuna this big. He spread his arms wide, fought for 2 hours before I could bring it in. What, feller? Asked. Oh yes, tuna are strong. They can swim at 70 km/h, dive to hundreds of meters deep. You have to respect them. Young Su and LT Unk and GT's eyes sparkled. That is what makes them taste so good. Struggle. These humans found joy in struggling with their food before eating it. Do you ever lose? Draw asked. Sometimes. Last year a shark took my catch right as I was pulling it up. Had to cut the line or it would have pulled me overboard. Young Su shrugged. That is fishing. The ocean takes what it wants. The ocean takes what it wants, as if the water itself was a conscious predator. Sang-ho led them to the village school, a small building where young humans sat in rows learning. Their teacher, a woman named Boa, greeted them warmly. We are studying natural disasters today, Bo said. Perfect timing. Class, say hello to our guests from space. 20 small humans chorus greetings. They looked impossibly fragile with soft skin and bright eyes, but they were being raised here in this place, which meant they were already tougher than most adult aliens. Can you tell our visitors what we learned this morning? Bora asked. Small female raised her hand. We learned about the Ring of Fire. It is a zone around the Pacific Ocean where lots of earthquakes and volcanoes happen. We live near it. Another child spoke up. We practiced our earthquake drill. Drop, cover and hold on. And what do we do if there is a tsunami warning? Bora prompted. Go to high ground immediately. The children recited together. Do not wait. Do not go back for belongings. Just run. Veeler felt cold despite the heat. These children, these babies were being trained for disasters that would end civilizations elsewhere, and they recited the procedures like they were learning math. How often do these earthquakes occur? Corvix asked. In this region, minor ones several times a year. Big ones that cause damage maybe once every 10 or 20 years. We are actually overdue for a major one, Boris said it, like she was discussing crop rotation. But we have building codes now, early warning systems. We are much better prepared than our ancestors, much better prepared for regular apocalypses. One of the children raised a hand. Teacher, are the aliens scared of Earth? Bora looked embarrassed. That is not polite to ask. It is all right, Veeler said quietly. He knelt down, bringing himself to the child's level despite the effort it took. Yes, small one, we are scared. Your world is much harder than ours. The child thought about this, but you are brave. You came here anyway. Something tight loosened in Velter's chest. Thank you. After leaving the school, they walked through the village market. Vendor sold food, tools, clothes. Balar suit analyzed everything, and everything came back with warnings. Food containing compounds that were toxic to most species, spices that would burn through cliff digestive systems, fruits that had evolved chemical defenses, vegetables that contained natural pesticides. Even the water being sold had mineral contents that would require medical treatment on any council world, and the humans ate it all. Without a second thought, an elderly vendor offered them samples of something called kimchi. Veeler suits warnings became urgent. Extreme capsaicin content, fermentation bacteria present, acidity level dangerous, multiple allergen compounds strong. Recommendation: do not consume. No. Thank you, Belter said politely. Yan Wu tried a piece and smiled. Ah, perfect. Just the right amount of spice. They stopped to rest near a small stream. Water burbled over rocks, clear and clean looking. Felthar suit analysis showed it contained microorganisms, dissolved minerals, and trace organic compounds. The humans drank from it directly using their hands. My grandmother used to bring me here as a child, Songho said, sitting on a rock. We would catch small fish and skip stones. It was peaceful, peaceful with water full of microorganisms and wild animals nearby, and the constant weight of killing gravity. Sun Hor asked carefully, do you ever wish you lived on an easier world? The ranger was quiet for a moment. I have seen pictures of other planets. Your worlds, the council worlds, they look very beautiful, calm, safe. He picked up a stone and turned it in his hand, but they also look empty somehow, like something is missing. What is missing? Challenge, purpose, the feeling that you earned your place. Sung Ho skipped the stone across the water. It bounced 7 times before sinking. Earth does not give us anything for free. Every day we wake up, we have to work to survive, and that makes us strong. It gives us meaning. Dra had been quiet for a long time. Now he spoke. On my world we were warriors because we chose to be. Here you are all warriors because you must be. I never thought of it that way, son. Ho said, but yes, maybe that is true. As the sun began to lower, painting the sky in colors that hurt to look at, Sangho stood. There is one more place I want to show you, a temple in the mountains. It is a bit of a climb, but the monk there, Yong, he is very wise. I think you should meet him. Veeler looked at his team. They were exhausted. Dawn came too early. Veeler woke to the sound of humans moving around outside, preparing for the climb. Through the window, he could see Songho doing exercises, bending and stretching his body in ways that looked painful. Juan was checking equipment, moving easily, despite the gravity that had crushed Veeler's team into exhausted sleep. Commander Korv said quietly, his skin was a dull gray. My suit is at 40%. Power, the gravity compensation is draining everything around the room. Whom other warriors reported similar problems. They had designed their armor for short operations on high gravity worlds, not for extended stays. Earth was killing their equipment through simple, relentless weight. We will manage, Veeler said, though he was not sure he believed it. This is our mission. Dra stood near the window, watching the sunrise. The sky was painted in violent colors, orange and red and purple. On my world, a sky like that means storms coming, dangerous weather. Red sky and morning, sailors take warning, Han Wu said from the doorway. He had arrived silently. It is an old saying. You are right, War Chief. Rain is forecast for this afternoon. We should leave soon if we want to reach the temple before it starts. 6 km 200 m of elevation gain in gravity that was crushing them. With rain coming, Veelers warriors looked at each other. Let us begin, Veeler said. The trail started gently enough, winding through forest. But within the first kilometer, Veeler understood this would be the hardest thing he had ever done. The path was steep, covered in loose rocks and roots. The humans climbed steadily, occasionally stopping to wait for the aliens to catch up. Sun Ho led the way. With easy confidence, Ji Yuan brought up the rear, carrying extra equipment that would have required a loading vehicle on any council world. How are you managing? She asked Veeler during one rest stop. I am managing, he panted. His suit's cooling system was working at maximum. Sweat dripped down his carapace inside his armor. The air gets thinner as we climb higher, G1 said. Less oxygen. Let me know if you feel dizzy. Less oxygen. Of course there was less oxygen. Why would anything about this world be easy? At 400 m elevation, Korvex collapsed. His amphibian physiology was suffering in the dry mountain air. Han Wu helped him sit against a tree and offered water. Take your time, Han Wu said kindly. There is no rush. But there was a rush. Veeler could see dark clouds building in the distance. The humans saw them too, but did not seem concerned. This was normal for them. Death approaching from the sky was just weather. After 20 minutes, Korv stood again and they continued. The forest was full of life. Birds called from the trees with sounds that hurt Velter's hearing receptors. Insects buzzed past, each one analyzed by his suit and flagged as potentially dangerous. Something large moved in the underbrush and Sangho casually changed their path. Wild boar, he explained. They have piglets this season, so they are protective. Best to give them space. And are they dangerous? Dra asked. They can be. Tusks are sharp and they weigh a couple 100 kg, but mostly they just want to be left alone. Sung Ho pointed to torn earth near the path. See where they have been digging for roots. They are strong animals. Strong enough to kill, Veeler thought. And humans just walked around them. At 600 m, they had to stop for half an hour. 3 of Veeler's warriors were experiencing altitude sickness despite their suits' oxygen supplementation. Humans sat on rocks and ate food from their packs, breathing normally, looking at the view, and it was a view through breaks in the trees. Veeler could see down to the village, the ocean beyond the curve of the horizon. It was beautiful and terrifying. This world that tried so hard to kill everything on it. In winter this entire mountain is covered in snow, Jiwon said, following his gaze. You can ski down, it is very fun. They turned the mountain into entertainment. At 800 m the temperature had dropped 10 degrees. The humans put on light jackets. Balar's team increased their suit heating. The wind was stronger up here, making the trees sway and groan. Almost there, Sangho encouraged. The temple is at 200 m. We are doing well. They were not doing well, they were surviving barely. The final approach to the temple was the worst. The path became stone steps carved into the mountain centuries ago. Each step required lifting their bodies against the crushing gravity. Feller's leg joints screamed warnings. Around him, warriors who had fought in space battles and invaded hostile stations were reduced to crawling up stone steps. And then they saw him. An old human male swept the temple courtyard with a simple broom. He was tiny, thin like a stick with skin like old paper and white hair. He wore simple robes and moved with slow, careful grace. When he saw them cresting the final steps, he smiled and bowed deeply. Welcome, travelers. I am Young. Please come and rest. You have had a difficult climb. Balar's team collapsed in the courtyard. Their armor could barely support them anymore. Young looked at them with kind eyes and went inside, returning with cups of hot tea and simple food. The mountain is hard, he said gently, but you have made it. That is something to be proud of. How old are you? Dra asked bluntly. I am 89 years old, Young said. I have lived in this temple for 60 years. 9 years, 60 years on this mountain. Balar did the calculations and felt sick. This fragile old human had survived more than double the lifetime of most Cliff, and he had spent most of it climbing these steps every day. How? Balar asked. How do you survive? Young looked puzzled. I do not survive. I live. Every morning I wake to see the sunrise. Every evening I watch the stars. In between I tend the temple. I meditate. I exist. This is not survival. This is life. Hyen Wu had climbed the steps without apparent effort, barely breathing hard. Now he helped Zhang serve the food. The old monk and the young commander moved in quiet harmony, comfortable in this place that was killing the alien warriors. You said you study Earth, Jiang said. To Jiwon, what have you learned? Many things, teacher, Jiwon replied. Respectfully, I study extriophile bacteria, organisms that live in environments that should be impossible. Hot springs, deep oceans, frozen tundra, acidic pools. Life on Earth finds a way to exist everywhere. And what does this teach you? That life is stubborn, that it adapts, that the harshest conditions create the most resilient organisms. Young nodded. The same is true for people. Soft conditions create soft people. Hard conditions create strong people. He looked at Velar. Your worlds, they are gentle. Yes, Belthar admitted. Compared to Earth, they are paradise, but you have no challenges, no struggles. How do you grow? Young poured more tea here. Every day is a challenge. The weather, the terrain, the simple act of living, and so we grow strong. We adapt, we overcome. A young human appeared from inside the temple. She was female with tired eyes and stained clothes. Hwan Young said, come meet our visitors. This is Dr. Hwan. She is researching medicine. Forgive my appearance, Hwan said. Bowing, I have been working all night in my laboratory. What do you research? Wheeler asked. Cancer treatments, specifically using modified viruses to target cancer cells, she saw there. Confused expressions. Cancer is when our own cells turn against us and grow uncontrollably. It is one of our major health challenges. Your own cells attack you. Corvix looked horrified. Sometimes our bodies are constantly repairing damage from radiation, from chemicals in our environment, from simple errors in cell replication. Usually our immune system catches the problems, but sometimes it fails and we get sick. Hyun accepted tea from Jae-sung, so we fight back. We use radiation therapy, chemical therapy, biological therapy. We turn our own biology into weapons against itself. Bilar understood now. Human medicine was warfare at the cellular level. They fought their own bodies with controlled poison and disease. I have had 3 surgeries, Jung said casually, once for my heart, once for my eyes, once to remove a tumor. Modern medicine is wonderful. Without it, I would have died decades ago. 3 surgeries, 3 times cut open and repaired, and he spoke of it like discussing the weather. Do you fear death? Dra asked the old monk. Fear it? No, death is natural. It comes for everyone eventually. Jung smiled. But I do not invite it. I will live as long as I can, as fully as I can. That is the human way. The wind picked up. Dark clouds rolled over the mountain peaks. The temperature dropped another 5 degrees in minutes. The storm comes, Jung observed. Good, we need the rain. Should we seek shelter? Feller asked nervously. We are in shelter. This temple has stood for 500 years. It will stand through another storm. Jung stood, and when I close the shutters, come inside. I will make more tea. We will wait out the weather together. The rain started with terrifying suddenness. One moment, scattered drops. The next, a wall of water falling from the sky. Thunder crashed so loud it set off alarms in the alien armor. Lightning lit the world in white flashes. Inside the temple, Jae-sung lit candles and served warm food. The humans sat peacefully, unbothered by the violence happening outside. Fellers, warriors huddled together, their suits registering the storm as a combat situation. On my world, Wheeler said quietly, this storm would trigger planet-wide evacuation. The shuttle ride back to the moon felt different. Wheeler watched Earth shrink. Behind them, that blue and white marble that looked so peaceful from space. It was a lie. That planet was violence and beauty wrapped together, and he would never forget it. His warriors sat in silence. Several were receiving medical treatment from the shuttle's automated systems. Muscle strain, dehydration, minor fractures from falls. Nothing serious by human standards, but these were elite soldiers who had been broken by a 3-day visit to what humans called a peaceful village. Commander Hyun-woo sat across from Wheeler. The human looked tired but content, like someone returning home after a pleasant vacation. I hope the visit was informative, Hyun-woo said politely. Informative? Belthar almost laughed. Yes, very informative. Good. Admiral Cuvan is waiting to receive your report. Council is eager to hear your evaluation. Bilar nodded. His evaluation. He had been composing it in his mind for hours, but the words felt inadequate. How could he make them understand? Lieutenant Jiwon leaned forward. Captain Wheeler, may I ask what you will tell them? The truth, Wheeler said simply. Back on the orbital station, Wheeler's team was sent Immediately to medical facilities. The doctors, both alien and human, examined them with concern. The human doctor seemed surprised by their condition. "You were only on the surface for 3 days, Dr. Sunami said, scanning Corvex with her medical device in a low elevation temperate zone with no combat activity. It was enough, Corvex croaked. His skin had settled into a permanent gray. "I recommended we visit the Australian outback," Suni said thoughtfully, "or perhaps the Amazon rainforest. Those environments would have been more impressive." But the council wanted to see normal human life first. "That was normal," Dra growled. The war chieftain was in the worst condition of all. His pride had pushed him beyond his limits. That village, that was an average human settlement. Yes, quite average, a bit quiet actually. Rural area, low population, minimal infrastructure. Many humans prefer cities where millions live together in tall buildings. Soon made notes on her device. Those environments are much more intense. The aliens exchanged looks. Millions of humans living in dense populations on that gravity. In those conditions it was unthinkable. Admiral Cuven appeared as a hologram in the station's command center. The four-armed Vexus looked impatient. "Captain Wheeler, report. Is Earth suitable for council membership?" Wheeler stood at attention, though his body arced around him. His team gathered in the corner. Haiyan Wu and Juan waited quietly. "Admiral, I must first establish context. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. This is the highest classification ever recorded." Cuven's tentacles twitched. "Class 12, that is unprecedented. Please explain." "Earth's gravity is 1 standard, which is higher than 95% of inhabited worlds. The atmospheric pressure is extreme. Temperature variations in a single location can span 40 degrees C annually. The planet experiences regular natural disasters that would qualify as extinction events on most worlds." Wheeler pulled up data on his display. "Earthquakes occur daily. Volcanic eruptions are common. Tropical storms form regularly with wind speeds exceeding 250 km per hour. The oceans rise and fall meters twice every day due to tidal forces. The planet has active weather patterns that include lightning strikes, tornadoes, hurricanes, and temperature extremes. And the humans live through this?" Coven asked. "They do not just live through it, Admiral. They thrive in it. The village we visited had been destroyed by a tsunami 40 years ago. The inhabitants rebuilt in the same location. They consider such events inconvenient." Dra stepped forward. "Admiral, if I may, I have fought in 17 campaigns. I have faced armed enemies on hostile worlds. 3 days on Earth was harder than any combat I have experienced, and the humans we met were civilians, farmers, teachers, and elderly woman, a monk who was 89 years old." 89. Coven's hologram flickered with surprise. "That is impossible. No species from a death world lives that long. The stress, the radiation, the cellular damage," and clears throat. "Yet he does." Wheeler interrupted. "Because humans have evolved extreme DNA repair mechanisms. Their bodies constantly fight cancer, infection, cellular breakdown. Their medicine is based on using controlled poisons to kill diseases. Their immune systems are weapons." Juan raised her hand. "May I add something, Admiral?" And GT, speak, Lieutenant. "Earth's biodiversity is extreme. we have millions of species, and approximately 30% of animal life is venomous or poisonous. Most plant life produces chemical defenses, our apex. Predators hunt by persistence, following prey until it collapses from exhaustion. Humans are those apex predators. Impossible, Cavan said. Humans have no natural weapons, no claws, no armor, no venom. We have endurance, Hien Wu said. Quietly, we have intelligence, we have the ability to adapt. We can survive in temperatures from -40 to +50 C. We can climb mountains, dive underwater, cross deserts. We heal from injuries that would kill most species. We are not the strongest or the fastest, but we do not give up. Veeler brought up more data. Admiral, I watched a human child play in conditions that had my warriors at 60% combat effectiveness. I watched an elderly woman serve tea while a storm raged that would have shut down operations on any council world. I watched a one-armed farmer work in fields where the plants themselves are engaged in chemical warfare. I watched a monk who had survived 89 years of accumulated radiation, disease exposure, and gravity tell me that his planet was paradise. Corvex added, and he believed it. The command center was silent. Calvin's hologram seemed frozen. What is your recommendation, Captain? The Admiral finally asked. My recommendation. Veeler took a breath. Humanity should not join the Galactic Council as standard members. Yun Wu and LT Unk and GT's expression did not change, but Veeler saw the flicker of disappointment in his eyes. They should join as protectors, Veeler continued, as specialists, as the species we call when situations are impossible, because for them impossible is just difficult, and difficult is just Tuesday. Caven was quiet for a long moment. You are saying these civilians are more capable than our military? I am saying that any human is more capable in extreme conditions than most of our military. Yes, they are born in a crucible. They are forged by their world every day. They do not know how remarkable they are, because to them it is normal. Drax stepped forward again. Admiral, I propose a new designation. Death World Specialists. Give them access to council resources and training, then deploy them to situations we cannot handle. Disaster relief on hostile worlds, rescue operations in extreme environments, deep space missions to dangerous regions. They will excel, Corvex agreed, because they come from a place harder than anywhere we would send them. Ambassador Thrak, who had been silent until now, spoke up via hologram. There is precedent for special designations. The Cliff are our medical experts. The Vraz handle complex diplomacy. Why should humans not fill a role suited to their unique adaptations? Because it is unprecedented to grant such status to a new species. Cuvan said the council will debate this. While they debate, Feller said, I suggest they review the full data we collected. Environmental readings, biological analyses, cultural observations, and then I suggest they try to spend 3 days on Earth's surface themselves. Cuvan's tentacles twitched in what might have been amusement, a challenge. Captain, a recommendation. Admiral, understanding Earth requires experience. Data alone cannot convey the reality. The Admiral's hologram nodded slowly. Very well, I will present your evaluation to the Council. In the meantime, humanity's status remains under review. The hologram vanished. In the silence that followed, Hun Wu Approached Wheeler. Thank you, the human said quietly, for understanding, for trying. I did not understand, Wheeler admitted, not really. How could I? I cannot comprehend what it is like to be forged by a world that tries to kill you every day, but I respect it. I respect you, that is enough, Hyen Wu said. Over the next weeks the council debated. Bilar was called to testify 3 times. Each time he told them the same thing: humans were not like other species, they could not be judged by normal standards. Earth had made them into something unique. Finally, the council reached a decision. Ambassador Teethrak delivered the news personally, his hologram appearing in Velter's quarters. The council has voted, Teethrak said. Humanity is granted immediate membership with special designation Death World Specialist. They will be given access to all council resources, training, facilities, and technology. In return, they will serve as first responders to extreme situations across council space. Wheeler felt relief washed through him. And GT, they agreed. And GT, after I suggested several council members spend a week on Earth's surface. Teeth hologram smiled. Only 3 accepted the challenge. All 3 returned after 2 days. Their report supported yours completely. Where did you send them? Iceland, Hun Wu suggested it as a gentle introduction. Apparently, they experienced something called a mild winter storm and decided that was sufficient to make their evaluation. Wheeler laughed. He could not help it. Iceland, Sung Ho had mentioned it once.